Hi, beautiful ones. It's so glad to be back in the therapy room. So glad that you've joined me. Let's go ahead and take some nice deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. Releasing all the day, getting yourself centered and ready for this amazing word. Let's take another deep breath. Blow it out. One more. And blow it out. Oh, I love it. It is amazing to be back here in the therapy room. Thank you all. I'm so excited. Thank you for joining. I see you, Pastor Andrew, Alexander, Eddie Carter, Nick Gann. Thank you all for joining. We are here in the therapy room. It feels so good to be back home. So yes, here in the therapy room, for those that don't know me, my name is Jacqueline. I am a preacher, a psychotherapist, and a lifetime learner. And my design, my purpose in life is to help others to maximize their greatness. And to do that, where I teach you ways to actually to live a life that is happy. Yes, you can be happy, even in the time of craziness, to live happy, healthy, wealthy. Yes, you can have a lot of money in your bank, and to live whole. And we do this all to live the life of our dreams. Yes, you can have what you want. You can have it. You just have to work to get it. But first you have to start with a thought, to think it, and then it starts to come to pass because you'll have the strategies to get there. So here in the therapy room, what do? We break down a concept, and we break it down in 3 parts. I start off with the psychological concept regarding that topic, and then we talk about the biblical truths, and then we close it up with talking about the interventions. How do we actually walk in that the mastery of that topic? So are you ready? So tonight, if you saw the headline, I said breaking news. Many of you have been watching the news, and so many things. I left my house this morning with more things going on in Barcelona. You know, every day it seems like we're having this breaking news, and a lot of things that are happening with terrorism, with harm, with danger. And it's getting more and more prevalent. I don't know if it's because now we have the access to see it, but it's just getting more volumed. It's getting amplified in our life. And so tonight I just was led to talk about something that a lot of us need to really grab hold to. And so the topic for tonight is the breaking news I want to share tonight is the identity crisis. Yes, it is a world epidemic, and it's built off of the fact that, yes, there's people that hate us. Yes, there's people that we've hated before in our life. But what does it stem from? Does it stem from the fact that, are we born with it, or do we actually learn this skill? Why is it that we're operating to the place of just no respect for life? Why is it that you can walk down or get in your car and drive down the street and may not come home? And it's built off of someone not believing in something that you believe in. So it could be through religious beliefs. It could be based on your race, your gender, or even the way you look. Some people have issues or hate towards people because they might be too skinny or too big or too something. It might be too dark, too light. There's all this animosity, all this hate, and this feeling of terror that is being plagued in our nation. And a lot of people think that it's birthed out of hate. But this is the first precious pearl I want to share for tonight. You have to excuse me, my phone keeps cutting off. But the first precious pearl that is stemmed from tonight is the fact that hate and terrorism, what we're seeing on the networks, some of us are even seeing around the corner from our homes, is not a symptom of hate. It is actually the symptom of identity crisis. Many billions of people in the world, they are not birthed to hate. They are not birthed to not like their neighbor, but it's because they don't know who they are. And we've all been there. No one is exempt. No one is exempt. So I go back to the place of what we're seeing on the news. We're seeing people that are I have identity crisis. These are the people that are bombing. A lot of you see it, Mr. William Brown, thanks for joining. Please share this, everyone. Please share. There's been chemical warfare. We've been hearing stories of chemical warfare. What else? Planes crashing in the buildings and people in their vans driving in the car, in the crowds of people. No one was born, just woke up out of out of their mother's womb was crawling and walking and went to elementary school and said, you know what? When I grow up, I want to be a terrorist. That was not in their DNA. It is not their identity. Even with us, let's get a little closer to home, because many of you might say, well, I don't do that. I've never harmed anyone. I've never, some of us been in the military. You didn't do it. Of us that we feel that we may not be doing things that are wrong, and we may not have a outward ought against our neighbor. But I was tested today when I was doing this message. I was wondering why. I was like, well, why am I going this route? I was, wanting the same thing when the Lord was bringing it to me, and I got tested, and he showed it to me. And the revelation was so powerful because, God likes to use me as a guinea pig. If you've seen some of my sessions, he always has me go through something, and I actually walk through it. And so I was working on this, and I was studying this, and the word was just so rich, and I was like, oh, I love it. This is good. This is good. And I remember taking a break from my office, and I walked outside and just to get some fresh air, and I was going back into my office, and I saw this young girl, and she was just all out there. She was showing her jewels. She was showing her jewels, and she was just okay with it. And many of you know me that I'm all about, being very feminine and being very an elegant, holy woman, and leaving a little mystery about yourself. Now, I'm not saying that women of God are supposed to walk around with collars on our neck and to act and smell and be like the men. Not at all. Be soft, be feminine, be elegant. That's all about being a holy, sanctified, amazing woman of God. But I literally, when I went through this process, I see the little girl and I see her just out there with all her jewels. And the first thought that came into my hand was, oh my God, where are your clothes at? And I was just, it was in my head internally, but I was instantly judging this little girl. And I was like, girl, go put some clothes on, get some room for imagination. All this thoughts is going in my head. But at the same time, I'm walking by this little girl and I'm smiling. I'm doing that nice little smile, nodding. She's smiling at me. It was very pleasant. And I walked by, and as soon as I walked by her, I had a conviction. And God said, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And you're going to get this revelation. Please bear with us tonight, because you're going to understand why that revelation that God let me go through, that how subtle it was, that it was in my heart so subtly, in my thoughts so subtly, how that alone can hinder and can create a place of where we are walking in identity crisis. So let's go now into the psychological concepts. So the psychological concepts is, let's now travel back to your birthday, not your birthday when you turn 1 year old and your mom and your daddy had that cool little party, maybe at Chuck E. Cheese if you're in America, or you had the pony show and all that stuff when you turn 1. No, the actual date of your birth, and all of your beautiful, amazing glory in your little fingers, your little toes, your little nose, your little button nose, and your little baby breath that was so amazing. You were born so amazing in the purest, amazing form of beauty, of human kindness, and of human wealth and human everything. It was just created in you when you were born. You were never born with hate. You were never born with dislike of things and people and a community and a region. You never even hated objects, or, I don't like that car, I don't like this. You didn't have any concept of any negative characteristic of being. You were highest form of creation of God. Wasn't that amazing? But what happens is, and it's so powerful, that what happens is the belief that, when I thank you. I go back to the point of when Jesus said, suffer not the little children to come unto me, because this is like the liken unto the kingdom of God, in the kingdom. And I thought about that, because I was saying how he knew something, he was speaking something that we knew not of with the youth and the children. And if you look through at this place, and I don't want to go too deep because that's a whole nother lesson, but this place of a child was an infant. He was talking about the infant child. Come as this infant child. An infant child is accepting. An infant child is all loving. It's actually even independent of others. They need someone else. They have a synergistic relationship. When we see a baby, what is the first thing we do? We go, ooh, goo, goo, gaga, and we just have that amazing interaction with that child. The child brings us joy, and then we bring the child that support that it needs. God is saying, that he wanted this type of child to come to him. Don't stop them from coming. That's how we're supposed to come. And so why was that? God was showing us something in that, in just in life in general, in regards to our identity. Because if we don't come like this infant child, accepting, loving, we are not walking in our true identity. Bear with me. So we're still in the psychological concepts. The psychological concept that we're going to talk about tonight is the nurture versus the nature. And a lot of you've heard that, nurture versus psychology, that they study this, and they actually have arguments about this. Different psychologists, different researchers, they have arguments about which is real. Some believe in the nurture, that is all predestined regarding the pre-wiring of who we are from in the womb, that who we are in the womb dictates who we're going to be outside the womb. And then the nurture believe that no, has nothing to do with me, the child in the womb. It has all to do with them in the environment, how their experiences in the environment, how they are going to be when they grow up. Me personally, and a lot of other psychologists, we believe that I believe personally that it has a combination of both the nurture and the nature. That yes, we have our wiring of who we're going to be of our personality, some traits that are passed down by our parents and generations to pass. You know, some of us call them generational curses. Some of us, we have in our families, there's tendencies to have drug addictions. There are tendencies to have eating habits that are different. And then there's also on other sides that there's tendencies to be more very shy person through birth. But some people, they're not born with shyness. They're just born extroverted. But because of a trauma or even just a life experience, they become introverted. You don't know me. Think of this. An extroverted young girl. She can be just out. She's amazing. She's out there. She's the life of the party. And then all of a sudden something traumatic happens to her. She might have been raped. She might have been mugged or something. And all of a sudden she's just not the same. She's into herself. She's always at home, and she's not that same person. That is where it's based on the nature. So there's a nurture of her being extroverted, being outwardly. That's her nature, what she was born with. And then there's the nurture, where it's something that she learned or some event that occurred in her life. So that's a psychological concept that I want to talk about. Like I said before, no one is born with hate. Yes, we can be born with shyness. Yes, we can be born with being extroverted and other different powerful and some things that we don't like about ourselves, but that's just what our personality is. And you can work through your different personality traits. But things like hate, things like malice, things like prejudice, indifference, where you don't have no up or down about a thing. Those aren't things that someone's born with. These are things that we learn in our society. Some say, well, it's the parents' fault. Maybe it could be the schooling or the environment, the friends, whatever social environment that you're in. These traits are learned. That terrorist learned it. That Ku Klux Klan member learned it. That person down the street that looks at you up and down and all around learned it. That little girl that's at the grocery store running up your stuff, snacking on her gum and being really nasty and doesn't have real good personable skills. She learned it. It's not who she is. This is so amazing because I recently watched with a group of my co-workers, colleagues, so a group of my colleagues, other psychologists, we went to go see the movie Split. If you haven't seen it, I don't advise any youth to see it, but adults, go and see it. It's very educational, especially for me, and it will make all this stuff make sense to you in regards to what I'm about to say. But Split was a movie, which is it's an American-based movie, and it's a psychological thriller kind of movie. So it's kind of scary, on the scary side, but it's very powerful because it talks about this man named Kevin, and Kevin is said to have 23 multiple personalities. So that means there's Kevin, and then there's 23 other people that Kevin becomes in his personality. If you watch it, it's a phenomenal movie. And so the And so in that movie, so Kevin, in his multiple personalities, he's revealing all this information to a psychiatrist, and he's telling her all about it. She's documenting it and doing research with him. And in the midst of this, he kidnaps 3 young girls, and he brings them to an abandoned location. And in this location, he's keeping them there because now a 24th personality, he's awaiting for that 24th personality called the Beast to come. And so the discussion after this meeting, after this dinner and a movie with my colleague was very educational for me, and it was very somewhat lightweight entertaining, because a lot of us had different perceptions on multiple personalities, because it's the actual diagnosis in my profession. And so some of them believe that no, it's fake. Nobody has multiple personalities. This person just wants attention. Others believe that it's based on a trauma from a childhood, that at the time of their childhood, they may have a trauma that transitions them into needing these different personalities. And then there's those that were there that were spiritual, who believe, nope, this person has demons, multiple demons, and they need the exorcism. And so it was I sat back and I just listened. And so during me doing this study, God brought that event back to me. And so he wanted to give me the actual biblical truth on what's going on. Because do I believe people have multiple personalities? Yes, I do. And I believe that we are and that is actually looked as identity crisis, where we're operating in a way that's not who we really are. A racist is not who they really are. A terrorist is not who they were born and created to be. And so the Bible says in Genesis 1:26, and God said, not Jackie said, not the grand poobah of the terrorism ISIS, not the grand poobah of the Ku Klux Klan, and not even Maba or Felicia down the street. God said, let us make man in our image and in our likeness. We are the offspring of man. Adam was the man that God created. We are the offspring of this man who was created in the image and the likeness of God. Not a monkey, not an orangutan, like my spiritual mother would say. I'm not a monkey, or I'm not an orangutan. I am man. I am woman, but I come from man, who is created in the image and the likeness of God. So again, no one is born with hate. We are born in the likeness and the image of God. And what is the likeness and the image of God? In 1 John 4:8, it tells me that he that loveth not knoweth not God, because God is love. The likeness and the image is love. God is love. He's a loving God. He is God. He is love, excuse me. And so if a person is able to hate, if you're able to hate, I'm talking to myself, the little girl that was walking, showing her jewels because she wasn't looking like me, all sanctified and holified and elegant and No, she was just showing her stuff because she wanted to. If I was going to hate her, I didn't know God. If I hate someone, if you hate someone, this is what it says. It says, he that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. And the opposite of love, beloved, is hate. There's no in between. I can't love and hate the same. It doesn't go together, because God is love. God cannot hate anything. So I can't hate a thing and have God within me at the same time. Many might say, I don't hate. And that's what I said. I don't hate nobody. I love everybody, Lord. I might dislike somebody. I just might be like, ugh. But God told me this. Research what hate means. But hate means to feel strong, feeling a repugnance. Remember, I was looking at it like, oh, not outwardly. I'm smiling, remember? But inwardly, I'm like, oh my God, what's she doing? Repugnance towards something with a desire to avoid or to turn from it, or intense dislike for. Hate implies an emotion of aversion, often coupled with enmity or malice. It also is a form of disgust. Come on. Hate is disgust. We have a disgust towards someone, like, eh. It also suggests a violent tendency towards someone. I just can't stand it. I want to punch them in their face. That is a violent tendency towards them. Not saying that you did it. Yeah, you might not be a terrorist, but the unction of the wanting to do it. God saying, you don't know me. What is another one? A deep, often shutting, a feeling of disdain for something or someone. Often a moral condemnation, or they're not like me. They're not of God. Oh, I'm just holy and they're not, because they don't believe in the Archbishop of the dainties. And so we have a disdain of moral complacency towards them because they don't believe in what we believe in. So we think that they're just beneath us because they don't believe in us. God's saying that's hate. I was like, what? He said, intolerance, a loathing, beloved. That's hate. And remember, hate is the opposite of love. And he said in 1 John, I didn't make this up. Pastor Jacqueline didn't make this up, beloved. It said in 1 John 4:8, he that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. So if you feel any of those ways towards anyone, remember God convicted me and I was wondering why. He said, if you have any of those ways towards anyone else, you don't know me. And what does that mean? So if you don't know God, this is another precious pearl number 2. To know God is to know yourself. And if I don't know God, then I don't know myself. I'm in an identity crisis. And when you don't know yourself, you're experiencing that identity crisis and it's in darkness. When you're in an identity crisis, you're in darkness. The lights are off. And let me see if I can, no, the lights are too far away. I want to be dramatic. The lights are off and you're in darkness. Matthew 5:14, Jesus said, ye are the light of the world. The city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Many of us believe he's only talking about Christians, but God came. He said he died because he so loved the world. He so loved the world. He didn't just love one group of people. He loved the world, and he would want us all to be the light. He wants us all to be the light of this world, to be set up on that hill with the beauty of what he's created us to be in his glory. But why is it that some of us are not in that light? Some of us that profess to be born again, to be Christians, not just Christians, to be born again Christians, we profess that we're that light. But remember, I was just today, I had to repent because of my thoughts toward this young lady. Because at that moment, at that blink of a moment, I was outside of my identity. I was in an identity crisis. Luke 11:34, it says, the light of the body is the eye. This is getting powerful. Wait with me. Therefore, when thine eye is single, let me sit up. My back is starting to hurt. The light of the body is the eye. Therefore, when thine eye is single, the whole body also is full of light. But when thine eye is evil, the body also is full of darkness. This is coming from Luke 11:34. Eye is single. What does that mean? It means that the eyes of your mind, or the faculty of your knowing, your mind, your knowing, is singularly focused. It's got a laser beam focus on fulfilling your purpose. In other words, you are whole in yourself with God. That is having an eye that is single. Remember, the light of the body, you are in the light. You are in the light of your body, to be that light of this world. You must have an eye that is single. You are whole in yourself and you are whole in God. But remember, but the whole body as it's full of light. But when thine eye is evil, many of you might think that evil represents sin. When you're looking into sin, when you're doing sinful things. No. I thought so until I started researching it. Eye is single means that the eyes of your mind, or your faculty of your knowing, is evil. This evil means paneros, and it's spelled Poneros, paneros, a Greek word that means full of labors, annoyances, hardships, pressed by toil, perils, pain, trouble, and just overwhelmed with the stuff of the world, all the negative stuff of the world, the darkness. Your mind is confounded with the dark side of the world, the darkness, the negative things of the world. But what does that do to us? It brings us into darkness. So at that moment when I was looking at that young girl, I allowed the darkness to cover my mind because and when it did that, it took me out of my identity of who I was. And it let me be impelled for that blink of a moment into the darkness. And see, the enemy would want us to believe that, oh, it's okay, you getting too super spiritual with all that stuff. No, this stuff, the enemy is subtle, beloved. He's so subtle. We can't have a righteous indignation about us that we can do things and think it's okay. No, God said, come as this child, come as this infant. Infants don't have that about them. They don't have unpure thoughts about other people. So they're in the light. That's why we get joy when we're with babies, because they are fully in the light in its purest form. So what causes my eyes to be single? What would cause my eyes to be single? What would cause me to be in fullness, in wholeness of who I am and in who God is? Number one, you got to know. Simple. We perish for the lack of knowledge. We must know. People that are walking in terror, in terrorism, doing terrorist things, is because they don't know who they are. And when we know who we are, we own that thing and we walk in wholeness and we walk in love towards everybody, no matter what they do, what they say, how they say it, then we can be that light on the hill. We can be those that draw all men unto God. And God says in 1 Peter 2:9, we must know this, but you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who has called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. We are all called out of darkness. And get this, and we are all the terrorists, the rapists. Many of you might not like me for saying this, but this is the Bible. This is the word. This is what God had to instill in my heart, and he's etched it in my heart, and I will not turn back from it. Everybody, everyone that's come from Adam, which is everybody on this earth, the billions of people on this earth, they are created in the likeness and in the image of God, Yahweh. Excuse me, that's my business, Yahweh. My business name is Yahweh. That's on my mind. Yahweh, yes, the beautiful one. We are created in the image and the likeness of God. And we are all a chosen generation. We are all a royal priesthood. We are all a holy nation. We are all a peculiar people. We all have the ability to be this. So why not treat everybody the same? Why not treat? Now, I'm not saying we're condoning what anyone is doing, but I'm saying, now we're jumping into interventions. Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see. It starts with you, beloved. It starts with me. We have to change what we think in our mind, because every thought produces an energy outside of us. I may have been smiling to that young girl, but I'm sure she felt what my energy was saying, because we all feel it. I feel other people's energy. I know when they don't like me. I know when people are talking about me. Why? Because we feel it. It's the energy we produce. We're spiritual beings with a powerful energy about us. And so God is saying it starts with you. I speak about it all the time. What you think is how you feel is what you're going to do. Think thoughts that person, anybody that may look different than you, anybody that may disagree with your beliefs, think that they are royalty. Think that they are a peculiar priesthood. Even if they might be Buddhists, you think that they're holy. You think that they're amazing. You think that they're kings. You think that she's a queen, the prostitute on the street giving out her body. She's a queen. Yes, think it, feel it. And guess what? You're going to walk around them different. And they're going to be drawn to you because why? They're going to see, because you're walking in your identity. You're walking in the love of God because God is love, remember? So you're walking in your identity. You're not walking in an identity crisis because you know that you're a king. You know that you're a queen. You know that you're a right. You're a peculiar one. You know this. Why? Because you're walking in the fullness of God. And when you're able to walk in the fullness of, in the wholeness of God and the wholeness of you, you're able to then pour it out to others, not just a select group, not just at the cookie sale that you and your women's group produces and your girlfriends when you go on your trips and you see a group of young girls that don't look like y'all sitting there laughing and talking about them, thinking it's cute and sending each other emojis and talk. No, stop all that. I'm talking to believers now, not the Christians. I'm talking to the born again believers tonight. Men, women, the youth, the adults. I'm talking to you tonight. Be the change you want to see in this world. No one was born a racist. No one was born prejudiced. No one was born a terrorist. We created them in this world. This environment of this world, this energy that we all produce has created this through the times past till today. But we as believers, we can start to transform this world. We can come and bridge our energies together with the power of knowing who we are and what we are here to do. And that is to raise up men and women of God to serve the King. And the only way you're going to do that is if you love the prostitutes, if you love the rapists, if you love the terrorists, love them into the kingdom. Love on them. Now, I'm not saying run out there and get hit by the car when you see them attacking. No, I'm saying that you can start in your home. Start in what you teach your children, because it starts in the home. It starts in the educational system. Those that are in the workplace, that have workplace ministries, marketplace ministries. Your customers, your clients, when you're in the schools, wherever you're at, let your energy flow that everybody around you is royalty. Let them feel it, because guess what? You feel it. But that's where you have to start. Do you know who you are? Do you know that you're a beautiful one? My business is called Yafa One. I want every time someone says that name that they know they're beautiful. Beautiful one. Do you know that you're a priest? You may not preach on the pulpit. You might not ever pray in front of a whole mass of people, but you're still a priest. God said they're a royal priesthood. You are royalty. My ladies, where my ladies at? Where my ladies at? Where my ladies at? You're queens. My gentlemen, you're kings. Operate in it, walk in it, be it, turn not away from it. And at the same time, treat everyone else as they are too. And watch this world change. Watch everybody around you change. And you working it through yourself and spewing it out to others is going to change the world. And that's my workshops I have. Let's change world changes. Who wants to be a world changer? I do. I know you do, because it's in your DNA too. It's in your DNA to be great and to make other people great. Why? Because we come from the same creator. We come from the God. We're in his image. We're in his likeness. It's in our DNA. It's who we are. We want to help others. We want to make others be great, along with ourselves being great. So I implore you to start each day with I statements. Many of you know I've been circulating them a little lately. I have these I statements, note to myself, I statements. Download them. I'm going to be making some actual cards that I'm be giving them out at my events. And if you want to order them, I'll have them on my Yafa store soon. Have I statements, or just write them down. You don't got to, if you don't want to buy it, you don't have to buy it. Write it down. The more important thing is you know who you are. I am royalty. I am whole. I am authentic. Rejuvenating yourself of knowing that you are who you are. And when you know that, when you're walking in your identity, your true identity, you can then spew it out to others so they can walk in theirs. Find your kingdom tribe. Number 2, we're still in that interventions. Find people like you. Find your inner tribe so you can be together. You can rub shoulders. You can iron sharpening iron. You can be with like-minded people. Because yes, people are still in darkness. But when you get with people that are in the light, and they're walking in who their authentic selves are. You'll know them because they're not going to spew out certain words. They're not going to act certain ways. They have a different aura about them. I love the fact that I'm a part of Kingdom School, or with Dr. Trim, my spiritual mother. I mean, that literally, I've been in the church all my life, but when I met her, I met the kingdom. And I'm so forever grateful to her because I've met my tribe. We're people that went to the KSM, Kingdom School of Ministry, and how we're learning how to live this life and how to live it with authenticity, not living it churchy, not living it through culture, but living it through the kingdom. And this is what it's all about. Find your tribe. They're out there. You may feel alone. You're not alone. You're with me now. I'm part of your tribe. Join us. Join me. Find people that understand you, that will validate you, that will promote, that will pump you up, that will lift you up, that will push you to be greater, and will not be satisfied with you not being who you're supposed to be. And that's a brilliant, amazing king or queen. And then the last thing, and I've been talking about it all through this time, treat everyone like they're supposed to be treated. Treat them like the royalty that they are, no matter what they do, what they say, what they believe, how they believe it. When you see breaking news on the news channel, instead of saying, oh my God, they're doing it again, say, Lord, let there be light in that king. Let there be light in the mind of that queen, so they may see who they are and who the person that they're offensive or offending truly is. And when that happens, beloved, this world is not going to be the same. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and end. I love you, but I'm going to end it with prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we glorify you. We thank you. We bless you. You are the author and the finisher of our faith. You are the creator of who we are. We are made in your likeness and we're made in your image. Everyone born unto time is made by you, through you, for you. And in that, Father, we ask you to open up your spirit unto us, Lord Jesus, those that are already called, those that are already in the fold, those that are already born again believers, and help us to be that true light of the world. Help us to put down our prejudice, to put down our racism, to put down our hate, our disdain, our dislike towards others. I decree and declare that we are going to walk in our authentic identity, and that we will not be a statistic of walking in religion or culture, but that we will walk in the image of the kingdom of what you want us to walk on this earth. I decree and declare that we will not and shall not fall from this teaching, that this word will be forever embedded in our heart, that we will be the light of this world, and that we will not be succumb to the darkness of this world by not liking someone else, but we will walk in love, because we know now, Father, that to love is to know you, because you are the God of love, and to know you is to know ourselves, and to know ourselves is to walk in our true authenticity, and to walk in true happiness, to walk in true health, to walk in true wealth, and to walk in true wholeness, to be able to live the life of our dreams. And for that, Father, we give you glory, we give you praise, and we give you honor. We glorify your name. And for those that are under the sound of my voice, I speak a special blessing over you for spending the time with me tonight. And for those that are going to watch this from this time until the end of time, because we're so thankful that God allows things like this to happen, that things can be recorded for even when I'm gone to glory, that someone can be blessed by this. I speak to you. I speak to your DNA, that you are going to walk in your authentic being, that who you were created to be is going to be done in this time. From the time of your birth to the time of your death, that all in between is going to be a life poured out. Your gifts, your talents, your abilities, your skills are all going to be used for the glory of God on this earth, and nothing and no one is going to stop it. You're going to walk with the aura of greatness. You're going to walk with the aura of royalty, because you are royal, you are great, and you are powerful, and you're going to know it for all the days of your life in Jesus' mighty name. I pray these prayers I seal these prayers by the blood, by the word, and by the fire of God. In Jesus' mighty name, I bless the mighty name of God. Okay, beloveds, I'm just so excited. I'm so excited to be here. I want to go, but I don't want to go. But yes, so DM me. I will be back next week. I'm so excited to be, again, I'm so excited to be here with you. If anyone wants to talk to me one-on-one, please DM me. Send me your number. I want to talk to you. I want to know you. Hi, Sister Vicky, Minister Vicky. I'm so glad you're on. Who else has joined me? Lena Kinder. Oh, hi, love. Bern. And I've been seeing my sister from another Minister. I don't see her on here, but Minister Tamiska, she was with me at the Kingdom School of Ministry. I told her, you got to be there. And she said, I'm going to be there. She called me on the day of and said, sis, I'm here. I said, yeah, in Atlanta. She's living in Alabama. So I'm so thankful you joined me, sis. Love you all. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.